Hello and welcome to the Miss Rolling podcast. My name is Jacob Staten, and as always, I'm joined by Jonah, Anderson, JJ Armstrong. How are you?
Well, it gets longer every week. Gets more annoying every week as well. I'm great. I'm really hot. You don't need to hear that, but everyone's hot in a minute. It's boiling. But what a day to be a Forest fan. How are you?
What a day. Yeah, I'm fantastic, mate. Thank you. Fantastic. The weather has broken. My spirit is relifted from several hour bedtimes. So I'm, top of the shop, mate. Top of the shop.
No one wants your life story.
Before we dive into it, there's one question we start with every week, JJ. What are you supping back on?
So the last few episodes, it's been water, but I'm finding myself a little bit boring. So today, I'm drinking, as you can see for those watching, a lovely Stella, a Nelson Mandela, a lovely bottle of Stella. Just been on a stag do. My liver has taken a kick in, but I won't let it get me down. It's here.
Yeah.
What about you?
Vince McMahon doing the $1 billion straw. I've got as per usual, mate. Little silver boy. Little silver boy.
There you go.
Yeah, silver bullet.
Oh, bless you. Before we start, two things. One, this shirt that I'm wearing for those watching is the last year's third kit, which is very bright, and the theme for this episode, as you can see in the background for those watching, is the yellow away kit. So this is going to be a bit of an eyesore. Apologies for that. Also, I'm currently watching the Forest v Hertha Berlin pre-season on the second screen. So if I look distracted and don't listen to Jacob, that's why. As you are, Jacob, as you are.
As you were. So we're going to start this week where I think any Forest fan wants to start. We're rumoured and linked with none other than Jesse Lingard.
Jesse Lingard to Nottingham Forest.
Jesse Lingard, yeah, J Lings himself. Zing. It's a peculiar one, but it's probably one that makes sense for a lot of reasons. I think we're being priced out of the Gibbs White move. And if you consider the fact that although he had a fantastic season in the Championship last year, and I don't really have any doubts he could progress to Premier League, he's unproven at Premier League. Jesse Lingard isn't. He had a wonderful half season with West Ham was wonderful. He's had some decent years with Man United. The wages would be humongous, I imagine, but when you consider there's no transfer fee and the experience he brings, and he's going to be given his all because he wants that one of those 26 spots to get to the World Cup, doesn't he, at Christmas? So, it's all things kind of line up, I suppose. I don't know what's going on. It always kind of seemed nailed on. He would go back to West Ham. I don't know if it's a money issue or a distance issue. If he's still, because obviously he's a Manchester boy, isn't he? So if he comes to Forest, he's still only 2 hours away with a speed limit and probably 70 minutes away without a speed limit. So, it's a bit closer to home. It's very interesting. It's a great signing. Somebody to wear that number 10 shirt, fits in that number 10 role that we need to kind of backfill with Zinkernagel and Garner. Well, certainly not Zinkernagel, who's gone to Olympiacos, and Garner not coming in seemingly. I do think there'll be a last minute bit of transfer activity with that one personally. It seems like a no lose situation to me.
Yeah, it's the fact that we're being linked with Jesse Lingard, whether it comes off or not. The fact that this is actually a possibility is pretty wild. I never imagined that would be a player that I would see linked with Forest. So it makes sense to me. I think he's a great player. I think he will thrive off being that talisman. He certainly was for West Ham. He'd be even more of a talisman for Forest. He'd be our sort of main guy. Someone worked out that it could possibly work out cheaper than Gibbs White, with the upfront payment and then wages, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really matter to me, wages. I don't think it's going to cause any discord in the dressing room because any of those players that looks at a former England international that's done it in the highest level for a few years on a higher wage to them and thinks, hang on, I should be earning more. Doesn't sit right with me. I think he sort of warrants it with his name. So sign him up. It's just wild. It's a weird time to be a Forest fan, but I've sort of, by the time this podcast goes up tomorrow, it might have been sort of swept under the carpet, not happening. Maybe it was a ploy to get West Ham to sign him. But I've become a bit obsessed today. I've never refreshed Twitter so much in the hope that something happens with it. So more than anything, it's a bit of drama. It's a bit exciting, isn't it? So I'd love to see him bang a goal in Millie Rock in front of the A block. But there you go.
I mean, a shout out to Daniel Taylor as well for when he kind of tweet confirmed the rumor. For putting "it's true" at the start and not just reposting what everyone else put. It was that was appreciated. So I mean, and then obviously we've also been linked with Emmanuel Dennis. I believe his first name is Emmanuel Dennis from Watford, who had a decent season last year in a poor Watford team, in the boing Watford team that comes up and goes down. So that would be an interesting signing. I'm not that bothered if we do or we don't. I'm surprised we haven't gone back in for the kid at Blackpool, Josh Bowler. And I know that Jed Wallace went to West Brom, didn't he, on a free? So I'm a bit surprised. They kind of seemed much safer bets. I know we don't need necessarily safer bets, do we? But they're very much signings of they could be that quality, but they're also definitely championship quality if we did come straight back down. So I'm pleased if we do, and I'm not unhappy if we don't. Type thing with Dennis.
I'm very happy if we get Dennis. I think being linked with him, I would almost be a bit frustrated if we didn't get him because I can see the value that he would bring. He got 10 goals, 6 assists last season, I believe, with a very, very, very poor Watford side. I think he is Prem quality. So get him in, get the wallet out.
Yeah. And on to confirmed signings. So since we last spoke, which was I think just about 2 weeks ago, we have confirmed the signings of... I think Naikati was already confirmed. So Nico Williams from Liverpool for a reported £17 million. Unreal. Omar Richards from Bayern Munich for... is about 8.5 with add-ons. Wayne Hennessy on a free from Burnley, which is great business as a backup goalie. And then today, as we're speaking right now, despite rumours yesterday that were off and all that kind of nonsense... the Firework Brigade, Lewis O'Brien and Harry Toffolo. It just seems like very sensible business. We're backfilling into positions that we don't have much cover. I'm thinking about left back here. Everything feels quite comfortable at the minute and quite well thought out, which is unreal.
That's the main thing
when you consider the kind of loose shotgun approach we've had to transfers in recent years.
That's the main thing. It's considered. And this is why I keep saying it's a weird time to be a Forest fan because I'm not used to us, and I've probably said this the last 5 podcasts in a row, I'm not too used to us being this strategic or recruitment is just on the point. I've not looked at a signing and gone, they're not going to be much good. They all seem quite exciting. So I think we've done some really good business. There's obviously the question of, is it too much because of what happened to Fulham? But if we didn't give it a go and didn't do too much, I think we'd go straight back down anyway because we didn't have that quality and cover. So we may as well give it a go. And I believe that obviously Steve Cooper's certainly the right man to make that happen and give it a go. So great signings. Nico Williams tonight in the friendly has pulled off a worldie of a cross for the first goal. So I've seen enough that we're getting Europe thanks to these signings. And Niakate looks brilliant as well.
Well, I think the comparison to Fulham is fair. We are spending some money. But I think if you look at the signings Fulham made that season, there was definitely no chance of confirmed Premier League quality, if that makes sense. Whereas you look at our signings like Nico Williams, Liverpool player, absolutely can be Premier League quality. Omar Richards paid for Bayern Munich, Jesus Christ, and started some games as well. Hennessy is probably as good a backup goalkeeper as you're going to get. Lewis O'Brien was man of the match in the playoff final that we won. Harry Toffolo, he might have got team of the season last year in the Championship. If not, he was probably very close. So, it's kind of that safety of they're definitely good quality Championship players. And also, there's a definite route to being Premier League quality. So I think we're boxing really clever. And, players like Musa Naikate as well, there's just there's a clear, like, you know, if we were to go down, we're going to make money on these players. You know what I mean? That as well. So it's just ticking a lot of boxes at the minute. And
interesting that Wayne Hennessy talked about the history of the club, because as far as I'm aware, he didn't know his history too well. So maybe we skip past that one, move swiftly on past that one. Yeah. Well, we'll skip past that into confirmed outgoings. So Lewis Grabban has left on a free after turning down a contract extension. Not unhappy. Wouldn't have minded him staying. A very good goal scorer. One of the worst strikers I've ever actually watched play. Just my opinion. Not how I like my strikers to play. That really good season. We got 20 goals. Scored some really important goals as well. Like, I just want to stress, like, I understand his importance over the last few years, but his goal scoring record isn't as good as I think people think it is. Maybe over the entire 4 years, but yeah, he was obviously well thought of at the club, being captain when seemingly nobody else outside the club could see it. And obviously being offered the 1 year extension. I hope he goes on to have a really good twilight of his career and scores a few more goals wherever he decides to go to. I'd be interested to see where he goes. Actually, I'm not sure he'd drop down again. I'm not sure he'd go Championship again. I think he might go. Yeah, I think he's going Middle East,
far and wide.
Yeah, I think he had the bid from Sabri's. I forget who he managed in the Middle East, and he certainly considered that. So I think he might head out there, or the MLS might be a shout for him. Yeah, he could do a job there. I think you said it quite well. Like, I understand the importance of Lewis Grabban, but for whatever reason, he didn't quite do it for me. When he was firing, fantastic, but when he wasn't, very frustrating. And I think that basically sums up the Forest fan base. You've got 50% who will hear nothing bad said about him, and you've got 50% who would only say anything bad about him. So a bit of a polarising figure, but was important to us over the last few seasons, has scored some important goals, but don't think he's Prem quality. Would have liked to have seen him stay on in more of a coaching role, but is what it is. I'm sort of, see you later, thanks for your stay, good luck and all that, essentially.
Cheers, all the best, God bless.
Exactly that.
And then, so a couple of loans. Well, I say couple, quite a few loans. So quite good to see this kind of players going out for development. Jonathan Panzo out to Coventry. Not really sure why we signed him. Because he's not exactly young. If he's not good enough to be our backup this season, I don't know if they were holding on to him in case we come back down and he can slot back in type thing. Finn Back's gone on loan to Carlisle. I feel like this probably should have happened halfway through last January. And get some experience. Still really excited to see what happens with Finn Back as well, because I still think he was really good when he did play. Tyrese Fornart to Reading. Really wish we'd seen more of him as well. So really good that he's got a Championship loan. Really hope he plays. And then Riley Harbottle and Will Swan have both gone on loan to Mansfield. I really, really enjoy seeing our youth team players go out on loan to local clubs. You know, Mansfield, County. You know, even could even go as far down as Base United, that kind of thing. So it's really good to keep them close by, but keep them out on loan and keep them playing. So I really wish them all the best. And then on to kind of the big news on the outgoing is that Joe Lolley has found himself in the under-23 bomb squad, which is he's been told he's no longer required or wanted by the club. He's transfer listed, or he's certainly available to leave. If you believe the rumours, he was told by text. Which, if that was Steve Cooper doing that, I don't really believe it. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's absolutely fine. Don't really believe that Steve Cooper would text someone, say that they're leaving they're no longer part of his squad. I feel like that might have been a preliminary text from somebody who got a bit overzealous with letting him know. But apparently, it's one of the reasons he's in the under-23s training is because he's no longer part of the first team plans. And apparently, the way Steve Cooper trains is he has 10v10s. So there is essentially no room for the extra man. So although it may look like a harsh move into the bomb squad, as it were, with the kind of Gaten Bong was in for his entire tenure with Forest, I don't think it's quite as dramatic as people make out. And it's, I think he'll be fairly professional and keep to it. And you know what? I hope he leaves. I hope he gets a a new team, and I hope he does really well, because there were times when he looked Premier League quality, or certainly getting towards that. But the last 2 seasons, I think he's been. I know he's had injuries and things like that, but he's really not shown up when we needed him, despite playing a fair number of games, thinking the season before last. And I hope he gets a move out, and I hope he gets some form back and really enjoys what's kind of turning into be the kind of twilight of his career, especially with injuries. Yeah,
there was a period of time where Lolley was my favourite Forest player. 18, 19 it could have been, but he was tearing it up, and I thought we were in danger of losing him to Villa. I was genuinely devastated at that prospect. Looking with hindsight, it's great. It probably should have been the sort of his time to move and get that Prem run, which it doesn't look like he's going to get. He obviously had a few games with Huddersfield, but then moved out. I'm sad to see him go, because at one time he was my favourite player, but it's more sort of sad to see how he did fall away. I know he struggled with his muscle compartment, I don't know what it is, but that's obviously affected him pretty badly. So it is a shame to see him go. The text thing, I think, caused, I don't know whether it's real, like it's hard to tell when a Twitter rumour goes about. Don't really need that sort of negativity floating about Forest Twitter at the minute. I think it has the danger of spilling into being a negative place at times. Definitely warranted in the past, but at the minute, I think let's focus on the positives. If he has been told by text, unfortunate. Again, can't see Cooper being the one to do that, but in the words of Love Island, it is what it is. There will be a recoupling, and he is on his way out.
You mean Billy Davis, right?
Yeah, sure. Go on, do your customary Billy Davis impression. Get it out.
It is what it is, Natalie.
There you go. Russian once again. Forget my point, but yeah, I will. I'd be sad to see him go, but let's just be realistic. He isn't the right player for us right now as a Prem squad. So being realistic.
Let's never forget when you robbed that Leeds player on the halfway line and squared it to Tyler Walker, right?
Yeah, I mean, he did a very similar thing in the playoff semi-final for Sheffield United, set up Johnson. 2 important goals. That Leeds game before, obviously, last season was my favourite sort of Forest game ever. And his involvement in that at the end was incredible. So he scored some bangers. He loved the goal against Birmingham. But yeah, time for you to move on. See you later. Love you, Lolley.
Love you, Lolley. So another confirmed thing this week was the new away shirt, which is essentially just a yellow and blue version of the home shirt.
Don't knock it. Don't knock it.
Oh, well, the home shirt's not for me, but the away shirt, I think that colourway does make it a little more palatable, certainly for me. I do like when we have our traditional away shirt, which I consider that the yellow and blue to be our traditional away shirt, especially from the European Cup days. It's much more palatable in that colourway for me. It's a nice away shirt.
It's unbelievable.
We're probably going to see a fair bit of it, to be honest. There's a lot of red or reddish teams in the Premier League at the minute, so probably going to see a fair bit of it. JJ, what do you think to it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. I love it. I think the fact that it's got the same pattern as I love the home shirt, but the fact it's got the same pattern as the home shirt makes the set better for me. I think Macron have absolutely smashed it. They've got the colourway right, which I'm a big fan of. I love a yellow Forest away shirt. This one that if you're watching, this third kit from last season was a banger because it was a bit outrageous, and this feels nice and sort of outrageous for the Prem. So I just hope that the sponsor doesn't ruin these kits, because both kits for me are going to be bangers. They look classic.
That's a really good point, because I think they've got a big decision to make with the sponsor. And there's been a lot of heat on Twitter around it not being a gambling, a betting company.
Yeah.
I saw a stat on Classic Football Shirts Instagram page earlier, and they do like a pie chart, and it shows you who all the sponsors are in the championship. And it's not as big as it has been in the past, but still a sizable chunk are betting websites and companies.
Yeah.
Utilities as well. I know. Sorry, go on.
There's a code coming in which is restricting betting and gambling companies being sort of sponsored within football. So I can see that phasing out by next year because of that. Sorry to interrupt you. If I want to, this could get released tomorrow, and I've got no insight into this. If it is this company, I'd be very happy. It's going to be random to sort of hope for a sponsor. So this is going to be random. But I wouldn't mind Cinch as a sponsor because in my job, I'm a designer. I hope you can tell by our Twitter post and the surrounding of this video. If you think it's rubbish, then Jacob did it. But
on preview.
What was my point? What was my point rather than saying how good I am at design? Yeah. So for me, this box logo is a perfect sponsor because it's clean, it's nice, the font's nice, it's got nothing daft on it, it's one colour, and that's what I want. So I think Cinch is a really simple, clean logo. This is a really boring topic of conversation to talk about a shirt sponsor.
I think it's probably more interesting than you think. I'd probably like something like, I don't know, you don't really see it anymore, but like, I don't know, like an O2 or...
Yeah, although three on Chelsea's nice. Is a bit dodgy. It's always Cinch or Kazoo, it feels like, at the minute. But I'd like Cinch.
Yeah. Did they sponsor Everton and Aston Villa last season, Kazoo?
Last season, Everton have got steak.com, which I really don't want because their logo is not nice. I think Cinch sponsor Palace, who are a Macron team. So who knows? It is probably boring for some of you, but interested to see who we get. I just hope it doesn't ruin the shirts because they've got potentials to be a banger. And whilst we're talking about shirts, what I'm going to flash up on screen now is this. By the time the podcast goes out, this could have already been released. But as it stands when we're recording this, we've just got a leak of, as you can see, for those watching on YouTube, go to our YouTube and watch it if you're listening to this. The third shirt, which looks like a bus seat, but it's goddamn beautiful. What are your thoughts, Jake?
That's my cup of tea. That's the winner for this season. Last season I only liked the home shirt, I want to say. This season I only like the third shirt. It's that's a clean win for me. That's my.
You didn't like the Calippo shirt from last season?
Calippo shirt? What the
third kit?
The one you're wearing right now?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, come disgusting. On. Get a grip.
I'm not a foreman on a building site, mate. I don't want to see that.
Great memories on that. This leaked third kit, it looks true. There's a picture of Brennan in it, so it must be true.
I've heard it described as the stagecoach kit.
Yeah. It just looks classic. Yeah, I'm thinking it's one of those, if we have a good season this season, in years and years' time, this is going to be the one that gets the sort of big numbers on classic football shirts or the equivalent at that time. So I think if this kit does get released, we get a good sponsor. I personally think we've got 3 for free bangers of kits, which is what I'm really into my kits. So I always wait and refresh Twitter to try and see when it's going to get released. So 3 for free kits, first season in the Prem. Yeah, banger. Love that.
I suppose as we round out this episode, please let us know your thoughts on the home, away, and proposed third kit. Really interested to know if people love it as much as JJ or think the home kit looks like an unfinished training shirt that Aberdeen used last year. Just let us know on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. It's really interesting to hear people's thoughts and opinions and things like that, because I was really hoping for like almost a retro-y type, big white collar, that kind of, the pattern on the sleeves amazing, but that kind of thing maybe all over and really double down on we haven't been in the Premier League since 99 when kits look like this type thing. So really interested to know people's opinions on that.
Yep.
So that rounds out this episode of the Miss Rolling In podcast. We'll hopefully be with you again in a week or so's time, depending on whether JJ feels like turning up. But if you're joining us for the first time, thank you very much for listening. If you come back, you're a lunatic, but we love you. You Reds.